Usyk, you gappy-teeth, ugly, bog-eyed rabbit cat! Got myself a little Usyk!
You ugly little man! You ugly little man!
This British giant allowed himself far too much.
I'm gonna bust him! Sausage, ugly little man, rabbit!
He mocked, insulted, and disrespected his opponent.
You ugly little man! You ugly little man!
But in the ring, he regretted it.
Come here, Tyson.
In boxing, there have always been great champions. But only a few fights turn into true legends. Oleksandr Usyk, a Ukrainian who rose from the cruiserweight division, claimed all the belts, and then conquered heavyweight by defeating Anthony Joshua. Tyson Fury, a giant from Great Britain, a master of psychological pressure, a showman and provocateur who knew how to play on his opponent's nerves even before the first punch was thrown in the ring. When they met, the boxing world held its breath. It was more than just a fight for titles. It was a clash of two worlds, cold discipline against chaotic energy. After destroying everyone in the cruiserweight division and becoming the undisputed champion, Usyk moved up to heavyweight. Many doubted he could compete with the giants. But in September 2021, he shocked the world by defeating Anthony Joshua in London. A year later, he did it again, defending his titles. Then came the fight with Daniel Dubois, where the Ukrainian once more proved that his technique and cold-blooded mindset were stronger than any raw power. Tyson returned to boxing after dark years and became the king of heavyweight by defeating Vladimir Klitschko. Then, in a trilogy, he destroyed Deontay Wilder twice, stopped Dillian Whyte and Derek Chisora. Before facing Usyk, he fought a high-profile bout with former UFC champion Francis Ngannou, where, although he won on points, he looked extremely unbalanced. And this is where things got really interesting. Fury understood, Usyk wasn't just a boxer. He was a cold warrior who never reacted to provocations. So Tyson decided to use his greatest weapon, his mouth. He called Usyk a little middleweight, mocked his height and build, and claimed he would crush him in the ring with sheer size. At press conferences, he screamed into the microphone, "I'll break you, little man! I'll eat you alive!" Once, he even brought an inflatable doll, taped Usyk's photo onto it, and mocked him, saying, "This is your real level." The stunt went viral, and even many who admired Fury's charisma began to feel he was going too far. Usyk, in response, only smiled. He never engaged in trash talk. All he said was, "We will see everything in the ring."
I more speak in the ring.
And it was precisely this cold confidence that irritated Fury even more. When fight night came, the tension was at its peak. Fury made his entrance in his usual showman style, with music, dancing, and a defiant grin, showing, "I'm the king, and I'll enjoy this." Usyk, however, walked out in silence, his serious gaze saying more than words. He was ready. Usyk, discipline, patience, technique. Fury, chaos, power, provocation. The world waited to see who would prevail. The fight began calmly, but the tension was in the air. Fury, as always, used his physical advantages, long reach, towering frame, trying to keep Usyk at a distance with his jab. Usyk, like a chess master, was in no hurry. He moved constantly, feinted, and forced Fury into mistakes. The round was more of a feeling-out process, but it was already clear, Fury wanted to show dominance, while Usyk was reading him like a book. Round 2. Fury started pressing, stepping forward arrogantly, leaning his full weight on Usyk. He pushed, leaned, smiled provocatively, and even shouted insults mid-fight. but the Ukrainian answered with sharp counters. His left hooks repeatedly found openings in Fury's defense. Fury looked bigger, but Usyk's punches landed cleaner. Round 3. Here, Fury managed to impose his style. He kept the distance, the jab worked better, and he landed a few solid right hands. But Usyk did not panic. He slipped shots, changed angles, and by the end of the round delivered a combination that forced Fury to ease off. Round 4. Fury smiled more, playing to the crowd, showing off. "Look, this is easy for me." But then Usyk landed 2 straight lefts to the face. Fury's smile turned forced. The crowd realized this wasn't a one-sided show, this was a true chess war. Round 5. The pace picked up. Fury landed an uppercut and tried to intimidate the Ukrainian. He leaned, clinched, and put his weight on Usyk's neck. But Usyk slipped free and fired back with a sharp flurry. Tyson was surprised, as if his little opponent absorbed everything and returned even stronger. Round 6. This was Fury's round. He worked the jab well, kept the tempo, and landed a few clean hooks to Usyk's head. Usyk backed off, and Fury's corner erupted with joy. It seemed like the Briton was taking control. Round 7. But Usyk wasn't about to surrender the initiative. He switched on his greatest weapon, footwork. Circling, stopping suddenly, and attacking in bursts. Fury, despite his size, couldn't keep up. His massive frame moved slower than the nimble Ukrainian. Round 8. The round exploded. Fury tried to show his power, landing a few heavy shots, one of which clearly hurt Usyk. Tyson immediately shouted, "I told you! You're too small for me!" But Usyk didn't retreat. He answered with sharp shots to the head and body. The round was close, but psychologically Usyk seemed to have the edge. Round 9. This was the turning point. Usyk came out fired up. His punches grew sharper. Suddenly, a barrage of left hooks. Fury staggered, his legs shook. Usyk launched a storm, trapping the Brit against the ropes, nearly finishing him. Only the bell saved Fury from hitting the canvas. The arena exploded. Usyk had shown his power was greater than Fury's words. Round 10. Fury was still shaken from the last round. His face was damaged, his movements slower. Usyk controlled the tempo, kept distance, and landed combinations. The British giant looked exhausted. His body wasn't responding like it did earlier. Round 11. Fury tried to rally, throwing heavy punches, but most missed. Usyk moved like a shadow, slipping and countering with precision. Fury staggered again. His face was battered, his confidence shaken. 12 o'clock, round 12. The final round. Usyk pressed on, refusing to back down. He wanted to seal his victory. Fury threw everything he had left, but his punches no longer carried real power. The judges' scorecards went to Usyk, and the whole world saw it. The little Ukrainian defeated the giant who mocked him as a middleweight. High voltage. After the fight, Usyk remained calm, thanking the fans. Fury looked stunned. He insisted the judges robbed him, claiming, "I really won." But the facts told a different story. The defeat in their first fight struck Tyson Fury's ego harder than any punch ever could. He was used to his showmanship, his words, and his sheer size casting shadows over every opponent. But Usyk stepped in and proved the opposite. The whole world saw how the little middleweight forced the Gypsy King to stagger under a storm of punches. and that is why the rematch became inevitable. Fury tried to regain control, turning to his old tricks, taunting and mocking. Usyk only won because the judges were corrupt. I'll crush him this time, he won't run away from me. But the world could see it. Fury's anger was stronger than his confidence. Usyk, as always, stayed calm. The rematch will be the same. The result will be decided in the ring again.
Don't be afraid. I will not leave you alone.
On rematch day, the emotions were even higher than during their first encounter. Fury entered the ring with huge flair. Music, showmanship, dancing, trying to hide his inner tension. Usyk walked in calmly, seriously, with the same confident look in his eyes. This was more than a rematch. This was a battle for legacy, for a place in history. Round 1. Fury starts aggressively. He doesn't want to repeat past mistakes, and tries to impose his weight and pressure from the start. He pushes, leans, throws uppercuts. But Usyk meets him with precise jabs and moves so quickly that Fury looks bulky once again. Round 2. Fury shouts in the ring, makes faces, sticks out his tongue, trying to get inside his opponent's head. But Usyk seems unaffected. The Ukrainian lands several left hooks, sending the crowd into a frenzy. Round 3. Fury finds an opening and lands a series of punches. One of them connects with Usyk, and Tyson shouts, "There it is, your end." But Usyk quickly recovers and responds with a fierce combination. The round is even, but it's clear Fury is expending more energy. Round 4. Here, Usyk completely takes control. His combinations are lightning fast. Fury absorbs several clean shots to the head, swelling appears on his face. The smile disappears. Now he's not entertaining. He's fighting for survival. Round 5. Fury tries to drag Usyk into clinches, leaning his weight, slowing the pace. But the Ukrainian works inside. Uppercuts, body shots, escapes from grabs. The audience senses a repeat of the first fight scenario. Round 6. Tyson lands a few good shots, trying to recover. But Usyk responds sharper and harder. Each of his punches lands like a gunshot. Round 7. Usyk switches on maximum speed. His footwork makes Fury helpless again. Fury swings, tries to connect, but misses after misses exhaust him. By the end of the round, Usyk lands a combination, and Tyson staggers once more. Round 8. This round becomes a one-man show. Usyk dominates, jabs, hooks, uppercuts. Fury looks worn out. His body doesn't respond. He tries to evade, but his movements are slow. Round 9. Another moment of truth. Usyk delivers a brutal combination, and Fury finds himself against the ropes. Seconds feel like eternity. Only by clinching Usyk does he save himself. After the bell, he walks to his corner, swaying. Round 10. Fury is almost out of energy. He fights only on willpower. Usyk stays calm and precise, breaking down his opponent with relentless shots, giving him no chance. Round 11. Usyk nearly finishes Fury. A flurry of lefts and rights forces Tyson to retreat across the ring. The crowd goes wild. The referee watches closely, ready to step in if necessary. Round 12. The final act. Usyk doesn't rush. He knows victory is already in his hands. He lands precise punches, maintains distance, and gives Fury no chance for a miracle. The bell rings. The judges are unanimous. Victory goes to Oleksandr Usyk. Usyk proved that discipline, technique, and character are stronger than mockery, showmanship, and empty words. Fury, who once called him the little middleweight, now stood broken, with a battered face and a shattered ego. This rematch put an exclamation mark on the story. Usyk is the true king of heavyweight. The history of this rivalry will forever remain in the fans' memory as an example that real strength lies in calm, intelligence, and belief in oneself. When Usyk's victory in the first fight was announced, the arena erupted. Fans shouted his name, and he, raising the Ukrainian flag, looked out at the crowd, silent yet proud. It was a moment of triumph. Fury, however, could not accept defeat. He immediately started justifying himself. "I won most of the rounds. The judges were blind." He tried to laugh, but it was a forced, hollow laugh, the laugh of a man who had lost his crown. Usyk, in response, simply said calmly, "I did my job. Glory to Ukraine." The months after the fight became a time of talk, debates, and new provocations. Fury did everything to draw attention to himself, posting videos, once again calling Usyk little, making gestures, laughing. He even said that this time he would break his ribs. But the more he talked, the less people believed him. Fans saw the truth. Words remain words, while in the ring, technique and a cool mind decide everything. When the final bell rang in the second fight, and the judges unanimously awarded victory to Usyk, the atmosphere was different. This time there were no doubts, no controversies. Usyk had proven that his victory was no accident. It was inevitable. Fury looked broken. His body exhausted, his face battered. Even his words after the fight sounded different. "I gave everything, but he was better." It was the first time Tyson admitted his opponent's superiority. Fans around the world applauded. Journalists wrote, "Usyk is the most technical heavyweight of our time. This is a story we will tell our children." For Ukraine, this victory became a symbol of resilience, as Usyk showed the example of a true warrior. This duel will go down in boxing history forever. Fury will be remembered as a great showman, but one who could not overcome a cold Ukrainian genius. Usyk will remain in history as the man who rose from cruiserweight, defeated everyone in the heavyweight division, and proved his superiority over a giant twice. His journey is proof that true greatness is not measured in size, but in heart, spirit, and belief in oneself. How Oleksandr Usyk defeated a dangerous British champion.
He just has to touch you once.
Shit's going down.
He's so different than anybody else in the division. Like, he knocks everybody out. Everybody hits hard. They all hit hard.
But he putting
that
shit
fucking
down.
dude hits hard.
He was undefeated. Everyone who shared the ring with him fell from his punches. He was beating undefeated opponents, and the entire world saw him as a future undisputed champion. But then, there are stories that change a sport forever. And there are fighters who enter the biggest divisions not to get a chance, but to leave a mark that cannot be erased. In 2021, the boxing world witnessed Oleksandr Usyk, a champion from the cruiserweight division, move up to heavyweight, a division traditionally ruled by giants, knockout artists, and names built on size, power, and physical dominance. But Usyk arrived with something different. With skill, with movement, with a level of boxing intelligence that cannot be copied and cannot be learned in a year. And standing in his path was a man many called the future undisputed champion, an Olympic gold medalist. a two-time heavyweight world champion, a force of the ring, Anthony Joshua. Two Olympic champions. Two technically gifted fighters. Two men from different paths, different cultures, different styles, and two fights that changed history. This is the story of how Oleksandr Usyk defeated a dangerous British champion, and how he did it not once, but twice. To understand the scale of this rivalry, we need to take a step back. Who was Anthony Joshua? Before his first fight with Usyk in 2021, Joshua was the Olympic champion of London 2012, a darling of the British public, a world champion holding the WBA, WBO, IBF, and IBO titles, a massive athlete, 198 centimeters tall, weighing over 110 kilograms of muscle, a knockout artist with 22 knockouts and 24 wins. He had defeated Klitschko, Povetkin, Parker, and Rees in the rematch. This was a fighter with enormous experience against elite opposition. Joshua was explosive, powerful, and technically sound, with an excellent jab and a devastating right cross. Who was Usyk? Usyk was a cruiserweight legend, the undisputed champion at 200 pounds. 19 wins with no losses before facing Joshua. Victories over Gassiev, Breedis, and Hunter. Olympic gold medalist in 2012, just like Joshua. Phenomenal footwork, body movement, and use of angles. Arguably the highest boxing IQ among modern champions. He moved up to heavyweight not for a paycheck, but for legacy. Britain believed he was too small. Experts said, "Usyk won't survive Joshua's power." Oleksandr was told, "This is impossible." Usyk just smiled and went to work. After moving up to heavyweight, Usyk needed to establish himself in the new division. He defeated Chaz Witherspoon, RTD, and Derek Chisora, UD, but many still believed he was too small for the super heavyweight ranks. Anthony Joshua was the reigning world champion with 12 title defenses, standing 198 centimeters tall and weighing around 109 kilograms, a fearsome knockout artist. He had regained his titles in the rematch with Rees and then defeated Kubrat Pulev. Analysts and bookmakers saw Joshua as the clear favorite. Usyk was dismissed as a cruiserweight, who wouldn't survive AJ's power. But Usyk didn't come to London for a paycheck. He came for history. September 25, 2021, London, United Kingdom, Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. A championship fight for the WBA, Super, IBF, WBO, and IBO heavyweight titles. Round 1. Usyk immediately took control of the center of the ring, constantly moving his head and upper body, never standing on the same line in front of Joshua. The first clean punches of the fight came from Usyk, a sharp left straight that landed cleanly to AJ's head several times. Joshua tried to establish the jab, but Usyk kept changing angles. It was clear early on that Oleksandr was faster, sharper, and working to a clear game plan. Round to Usyk. Round 2. Both fighters remain cautious, with a moderate pace. Usyk continues to land the left straight over Joshua's lead hand, forcing AJ to step back on multiple occasions. Joshua works the jab more often to the body but still can't fully find his range. Usyk lands a clean left hook that makes the champion pause and reset. Slight edge to Usyk. Round 3. Usyk increases the tempo. He begins to combine left straight into a right hook, left hook followed by a step to the side. Joshua is forced back toward the ropes for the first time. Usyk lands a precise left straight to the chin, visibly shaking AJ, one of Usyk's most significant punches of the fight. The crowd erupts as Usyk takes the round convincingly. Clear round for Usyk. Round 4. Joshua starts to adjust. He uses the jab more, leans on Usyk with his size, and looks to work the body. Oleksandr maintains his pace, circles more, and refuses to be trapped. The round is more competitive, but Joshua lands the cleaner shots, including several solid jabs. Close round could go to Joshua. Round 5. Joshua tries to seize the initiative, but Usyk continues to read his movements. Usyk fires a 3-punch combination from the left side, landing cleanly on AJ's face twice. Joshua answers with body shots, one of them particularly noticeable. The pace picks up, but Usyk remains the sharper and more precise fighter. Advantage Usyk. Round 6. One of the most evenly contested rounds of the fight. Usyk once again changes the tempo and rhythm. Joshua lands several solid jabs and a straight right, meaningful shots, but without serious effect. Usyk answers with short combinations. Many analysts scored this round for AJ. Very close round, but it can go to Joshua. Round 7. Usyk switches his legs and accuracy back on. He lands a clean left straight to the jaw, followed by another sharp left side combination. Joshua looks less active, focusing more on defense, but he's taking more shots than he's landing. Round to Usyk. Round 8. AJ gets back into the fight, working more as the counterpuncher, firing a stiff jab to the body. Usyk continues to punch over the lead hand but misses a few times as the champion adjusts. Many judges gave this round to Joshua due to the cleaner, more visible shots. Round to Joshua. Round 9. Usyk raises the tempo. A classic moment in the fight where he begins to turn the screws on AJ. He lands a clean left-handed combination and forces Joshua to move backward. AJ looks fatigued, clearly uncomfortable with the pace. Round to Usyk. Round 10. Both fighters look tired, but Usyk maintains his mobility. Joshua works behind the jab, landing one particularly strong body shot. Usyk answers with combinations, but there are many even exchanges in this round. Very close round, 50-50ths. Round 11. Usyk dominates. Throughout the round, AJ is on the back foot, absorbing left straights and hooks. The fatigue is obvious. His speed has dropped significantly. Usyk lands over 20 clean punches. Joshua takes a sharp left straight to the head and looks exhausted. Usyk completely takes the round. Round 12, the final round. One of the most memorable rounds of Usyk's career. In the final 40 seconds, Oleksandr practically pins Joshua to the ropes. A sequence of 4 to 5 consecutive left hands lands cleanly. AJ stands his ground, takes the shots, but survives. Usyk doesn't rush for a finish. He stays technical, composed, and fully in control. The crowd erupts as Usyk closes the fight in total command. The round, and the entire finish, clearly belong to Usyk. Fight summary. Official scorecards. 117 to 112 Usyk. 116 to 112 Usyk. 115 to 113 Usyk. Unanimous decision victory for Oleksandr Usyk. Usyk becomes the new heavyweight world champion, holder of the WBA, WBO, IBF, and IBO titles. Joshua loses without being knocked down for the first time in his career. and looked stunned by the outcome. After the fight, AJ was composed. He thanked the fans and admitted that Usyk was faster and smarter in the ring. He said, "I couldn't see in the 9th round," hinting at the heavy swelling under his eye. Usyk said he could have gone for the finish, but chose not to take unnecessary risks, adding, "I was inspired by the people of Ukraine. I wanted to bring them joy." Under the terms of the contract, Joshua was entitled to an automatic rematch, which was confirmed after the fight. And so, the road toward Usyk vs. Joshua 2 began. After the first fight, Joshua activated the rematch clause in the contract. The rematch was postponed several times due to the war in Ukraine and the search for a host country. Usyk returned from Ukraine, where he had been serving in the Territorial Defense Forces, and began his training camp in Egypt and Saudi Arabia. Pre-fight facts: Usyk weighed 100.5 kilograms, almost the same as in the first fight, but he looked leaner and faster. Joshua weighed 110.9 kilograms, came in heavier, and trained under a new coach, Robert Garcia, who aimed to make AJ more aggressive and adopt a more Mexican-style approach, with a strong emphasis on body work. Joshua attempted to adjust his style, focusing more on inside fighting and attacks to the body. Usyk maintained his mobility and speed. The arena hosted over 15,000 spectators. The atmosphere in Saudi Arabia was calm, not as explosive as it had been in London. August 20th, 2022 Jeddah, Saudi Arabia Jeddah Superdome. A championship fight for the WBA, Super, IBF, WBO, and IBO heavyweight titles. Round 1. Both fighters start cautiously. Usyk circles a lot, jabs to the head and body, constantly changing direction. Joshua tries to hold the center of the ring and work the jab to the body. The first clean shots once again come from Usyk, a left straight and a sharp jab. Advantage Usyk. Round 2. AJ begins to apply more pressure. Usyk works at a higher speed, sharp entries and exits, constant level changes. Midway through the round, Usyk lands a clean and noticeable left straight to the head. Joshua continues to target the body, a key part of his strategy. Very close round, but Usyk is the more accurate fighter. Round 3. Usyk starts to increase the tempo. He lands several left-handed combinations. AJ steps back but answers with heavy straight rights. Joshua finds moments with body shots. One in particular lands hard. Usyk looks faster, but AJ looks powerful. Nearly even, with a slight edge to Usyk. Round 4. Joshua puts together one of his best rounds of the first half of the fight. He lands several jabs, scores with a solid right to the body, and backs Usyk up. Usyk responds, but AJ controls the ring more effectively. Round to Joshua. Round 5. Usyk regains control of the pace. He lands combinations, left straight, step to the side, jab, and sudden tempo changes. AJ's activity drops slightly. Usyk is almost never stationary. Even when being chased, he constantly slips off the line of attack. Advantage Usyk. Round 6. Both Usyk and Joshua work intensely in the center of the ring. Usyk lands several left hands from different angles. Joshua answers with hard, committed body shots. The pace is high. Many analysts scored this round for AJ due to the power of his punches. Close round could go to Joshua. Round 7. Usyk begins to truly turn the screws on AJ. He lands a series of left hands, moving lighter and faster. AJ shifts into a more defensive mode, repeatedly going behind a high guard. Usyk looks fresher. Advantage Usyk. Round 8. Joshua does excellent work to the body, one of his strongest rounds. Several heavy body shots land clean and with authority. Usyk gives ground slightly but answers with jabs and left straights. Round to Joshua. Round 9. AJ delivers his best round of the fight. He lands multiple punishing body shots, especially with the right hand. Usyk clearly feels them, retreats, and shells up. It's the only moment in the fight where the champion looks genuinely troubled. Usyk stays on his feet, but the round clearly belongs to Joshua. Round 10. One of the most important rounds in Usyk's entire career. After a difficult ninth, Oleksandr explodes. 3 to 4 left-handed combinations. Clean shots to the head. AJ backing up under pressure. Over 20 punches landed in the round. Usyk sharply raises the tempo, completely shifting the momentum. Joshua looks disoriented. Total domination by Usyk. Round 11. Usyk keeps the pressure high with speed. He constantly changes angles, landing left hands to the head and body. AJ offers very little in return, moving backward and relying on his guard. Advantage Usyk. Round 12, final round. A competitive round, but Usyk is the more active fighter. AJ throws heavy single shots, but Usyk is faster and more accurate. Plenty of exchanges in the center of the ring. Usyk closes the round confidently, clearly taking the final moments. Official result: split decision. 115 to 113 Joshua. 115 to 113 Usyk. 116 to 112 Usyk. Oleksandr Usyk wins and successfully defends all of his world titles. After the result was announced, AJ threw 2 of Usyk's titles out of the ring, walked back to the locker room, returned to the ring, took the microphone and delivered an emotional speech. The incident was discussed for weeks throughout the boxing world. He acknowledged that Usyk was the better fighter, but his emotional outburst quickly became a meme. Usyk said that he dedicated the victory to Ukraine, that AJ is a strong opponent, that the 9th round was extremely difficult for him. He also delivered the now iconic line, "I want Fury."
I'm gonna bust him! Sausage, ugly little man, rabbit!
I have the one thing that he doesn't have, and that's a punch that can switch lights off within.
I more speak in the ring.
He was underestimated time and again. He was mocked, ridiculed, pushed around, and they tried to break him mentally.
Get knocked out, motherfucker! Out cold, sausage! Rabbit!
But every time, he answered where words no longer matter, in the ring. This is the story of Oleksandr Usyk's revenge. The story of a warrior who silenced his critics.
Fury's wobbling! Usyk's caught it! Fury's in all kinds of trouble! Is that the game changer? Usyk can sense the finish! Tyson Fury senses the scramble! Usyk charging in for a finish! Fury doesn't know where he is!
September 2017. Berlin. Marco Huck, the hometown hero, former world champion, beloved by the local crowd. He enters the ring with a cocky smile. At the press conference before the fight, he had shoved Usyk, trying to break him mentally. Huck believed that his experience and arrogance would bring him victory. But Usyk stayed silent. He stepped into the ring like it was just another day at work. His eyes said, "I'll answer without words." From the opening seconds, Huck charges forward. His tactic is simple: break Usyk's rhythm, drag him into a brawl. But the Ukrainian immediately establishes his jab. The left hand, like a metronome, stops every rush. Huck grows frustrated, swinging wildly, but he cannot break through the defense. The crowd still believes in their hero, but the sound of Usyk's jab already starts to drown out their hopes. Round 2. Huck tries to work the body more, coming in from the sides, but Usyk meets him with straight shots and 1-2 combinations. Every punch lands clean, while Huck misses more and more often. Usyk doesn't force the pace yet. It's as if he's studying his opponent, making him nervous. It was a chessboard. And by the second round, it was clear Huck was not the king on it. Round 3. The German tries to act brazenly, even shoving Usyk after the bell. But in return, he eats a series of shots to the body and head. The crowd quiets down for a moment. For the first time, it becomes clear the advantage belongs to the Ukrainian. Round 4. Huck throws heavy right hooks, hoping to catch Usyk. But the Ukrainian moves like a ghost, constant footwork, constant changes of angle. Usyk lands a combination, 3 quick lefts, then a sharp straight to the head. Huck pauses for a moment, swallowing the blows. Round 5. The pace of the fight rises. Usyk wins the exchanges. His punches are now leaving visible marks on Huck's face. In the corner, Marco is breathing heavily. He hadn't expected such relentless pressure without knockout power, only precision and pace. Round 6. Huck tries to regain the initiative, once again moving forward. But Usyk calmly meets him with jabs, then follows up with combinations. Several times Marco finds himself pressed against the ropes. For the first time, the Berlin crowd falls silent. It's clear their favorite is falling behind. Round 7. Usyk begins to press harder. A straight left, an uppercut, a left hook, all landing clean. Huck tries to answer back, but his punches miss more and more often. Usyk smiles, feeling in complete control. Round 8. A battered Huck is surviving on pure grit. Usyk adds body shots, draining his opponent further. Marco gets trapped against the ropes several times and looks exhausted. His arrogance before the fight now seems like a distant memory. Round 9. A true beating. Usyk works like a machine, combination after combination, not giving Huck a single second to breathe. The German's face is battered, and he's barely standing on his feet. Commentators begin to say, "It's only a matter of time." Round 10. Usyk launches the final assault. A combination, straight left, right uppercut, another left over the top. Huck is still standing, but no longer defending himself. His face covered in blood, the punches rain down endlessly. The referee steps in. The fight is stopped. Technical knockout. The Berlin arena falls silent. Their hero is broken. November 2018. Manchester. Tony Bellew, the star of Britain, the hometown favorite. Charismatic, loud, he never kept his mouth shut, not at press conferences, not in interviews. "I will break this Ukrainian," He's never faced a fighter like me. He promised to end Usyk's career and become the undisputed champion. But Usyk, as always, stayed silent. His answer awaited Tony in the ring. Round 1. Bellew starts confidently. He moves lightly, works off the counter, and lands with the right hand a few times. Usyk is still studying his opponent, not rushing. The crowd goes wild. Their favorite looks better for now. Round 2. Usyk brings out the jab. He keeps Bellew at distance constantly. But the Brit responds cleverly, countering with the right uppercut, forcing the Ukrainian to stay cautious. A close round, Bellew even looks sharper. Round 3. The British fans roar as Bellew fights boldly, catching Usyk with counters, showing emotion, even hyping up the crowd during the fight. But Usyk remains cold. He's gradually pulling Tony into a high-paced fight. It was an illusion of control. Bellew thought he was winning. In reality, Usyk was downloading information, like a computer. Round 4. Usyk adds more footwork, changes angles, and works in left-hand combinations. It's getting harder for Bellew to land clean. But Tony still hangs in there, even drawing applause from the crowd with a few accurate single shots. Round 5. The pace rises. Usyk starts working more actively. The jabs keep pouring in non-stop. Bellew's body begins to melt. The Brit still counters, but he's missing more often. His breathing grows heavier. Round 6. Bellew slows down. Usyk steps into mid-range, takes away the space. A few clean left-hand combinations land straight to the Brit's head. Tony tries to hide the fatigue, but it's becoming clear. The momentum shifts to the Ukrainian. Round 7. The pressure builds. Usyk now dominates the tempo. It's as if he feels the moment. Time to break Bellew mentally. The Brit starts backing up, throwing less. His body begs for rest, but Usyk allows no pause. Round 8, the end. Usyk marches forward, seizing full control. Combination, jab, straight left, another left hand. Bellew retreats, drops his right hand for just a split second. And then, a thunderous left hook from Usyk, straight to the chin. Tony crashes to the canvas, collapsing helplessly into the ropes. The referee waves it off immediately. Knockout. The Manchester arena falls silent. Their hero lay defeated, while the Ukrainian raised his hands. After the fight, Bellew admitted, "He's the best I've ever faced. Usyk is a true champion." May 18, 2024. Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Tyson Fury, the Gypsy King, an undefeated giant weighing over 120 kilograms and standing 206 centimeters tall. He mocked Usyk at press conferences, pulling faces and shouting into the microphone, "Run, rabbit, run, rabbit, run, run, run!" But Usyk remained calm. He entered the ring with a serious expression, like a warrior who knew this fight was not only for the titles, but also for history. Round 1. Fury starts in showman style, dropping his hands, smiling, provoking. He even mimics Usyk's movements. But the Ukrainian doesn't fall for it. He immediately sets the pace, his left jab breaking through Fury's high guard. At the end of the round, Usyk lands a clean straight, and the Briton's smile fades slightly. Round 2. Fury tries to seize the initiative. He works behind the jab and lands a few rights. He's bigger, longer, and seems to be controlling the distance. But Usyk is faster. He raises the tempo, forcing Fury to move more than he's used to. Round 3. The Ukrainian adds body shots. A few lefts to the liver make Fury retreat. The crowd sees that the little cruiser is not afraid of the giant. Fury tries to lean on Usyk, using his weight and pressing with his shoulder. But Usyk slips away and works with speed. Round 4. Fury shows his class, landing several jabs and rights over the top. His reach creates problems. But Usyk doesn't panic. He maneuvers, changes angles, and lands precise combinations. It's an even round, but clear. Usyk is not giving up the initiative. Round 5. The first real warning for Fury. Usyk lands a sharp combination. Tyson wobbles, but stays on his feet. The crowd erupts. No one expected Fury to take such punishment. Round 6. Tyson decides to answer with bravado. He smiles deliberately, shakes his head after getting hit, as if nothing bothers him. But Usyk doesn't react. He keeps punching. The Ukrainian's accuracy increasingly cuts through the Giant's defense. Round 7. They trade shots. Fury tries to use his size, throwing heavy rights and stopping Usyk a few times with the jab. But the Ukrainian answers with speed and combinations. Midway through the round, he catches Fury on the counter. A left hook lands flush. Tyson stumbles backward. Round 8. The pace is furious. Usyk unleashes his trademark, mills, a 5-punch flurry to head and body, forcing Fury onto the ropes. The British Giant tries to cover up, but waves of the Ukrainian's attacks start to overwhelm him. By the end of the round, Fury's face is already reddened from clean shots. Round 9, the turning point. Silence in the arena turns into a roar. Usyk finds the perfect moment. First, a combination to the body. Then a sharp left straight to the head. And another one. Fury staggers, his legs trembling. Usyk unleashes 3 more punches in a row, and Tyson collapses against the ropes. It's an official knockdown. The Giant rises slowly, but his eyes look dazed and uncertain. Round 10. Usyk goes in for the finish, but Fury hangs on. He clinches, holds, does everything he can to survive. His face is battered, and he barely reacts to punches. The Ukrainian keeps pouring on combinations, but the Brit endures on sheer will. Round 11. Fury recovers slightly, trying to bring back the jab, but without the same authority. Usyk calmly controls the pace, keeps the distance, and lands precise shots, giving his opponent no chance for a comeback. Round 12, the finale. Both are exhausted, but Usyk looks fresher. He fights the last 3 minutes as if it's the start of the match. Movement, jab, combinations. Fury is mostly defending, no longer attacking. He survives, but he loses. The judges announce victory for Oleksandr Usyk by unanimous decision. The Ukrainian becomes the first undisputed heavyweight champion in 25 years. After the fight, Fury admits, "He's the best I've ever fought. This man is special." London. Wembley roars like a volcano. At the press conferences and the weigh-in, Daniel Dubois acted cocky, stepping too close, shoving Usyk with his shoulder, staring him down, and throwing insults. He tried to show. Usyk stood calm. No extra words, no emotions. His eyes said it all. The answer would come where fights are decided not by words, but by punches. Round 1. The bell. Dubois charges forward like a wild bull. He immediately tries to impose his strength, pushing with his body, pressing, looking for a big hook to the head. But Usyk is calm, like water. He meets every rush with a jab, shifts to the side, changes angles. The first round is close, but it's clear who is thinking, and who is just rushing in. Round 2. The Brit again looks for success to the body. He works rough, trying to bend the Ukrainian to his will. But Usyk is already reading him. Left straight to the head, a sidestep, another jab. Dubois misses more and more often, and the crowd begins to quiet down. Round 3. Usyk turns on the speed. His movement becomes lighter, his punches sharper. A 3-punch combination, jab, left to the body, right uppercut to the chin. Dubois wobbles. He's still on his feet, but the audience sees it. The British knockout artist has felt the champion's power. Round 4. Dubois slows down. He breathes heavily, his attacks grow ragged. Usyk, on the contrary, opens up. It's as if he paints punches in the air, 3, 4-shot combinations, body, head back to the body. Dubois retreats to the ropes, his confidence melting away. Round 5, the payback. At the start of the round, Usyk calmly steps into the center of the ring. He looks his opponent in the eyes, and begins the assault. A right hook to the temple. Dubois goes down. He rises at the count of 8, but his legs won't obey him. Usyk moves into finish, a left hook square on the chin. Dubois crashes down again, and this time the referee stops it. Knockout. Silence falls over Wembley. The people who shouted and whistled are now quiet. Usyk raises his arms. He never needed to answer shoves or insults outside the ring. He answered where words lose their weight.
Bad guy because this is man say bad words for my mom.
Suck it, you son of a bitch.
It's bad.
Combination, uppercut through the middle, hooks around.
The night of September 9th, 2017, in Berlin, Germany, carried the electricity of a major event. Inside the Max Schmeling-Halle, over 8,000 fans filled the arena to witness the opening of the World Boxing Super Series Cruiserweight Tournament. Oleksandr Usyk, the undefeated WBO champion from Ukraine, stepped into the ring with the aura of a rising star, seen by many as the favorite to win the entire tournament. Across from him stood Marco Huck, Germany's veteran warrior, a former long-reigning champion determined to show he still had the grit and toughness to reclaim his throne. For Usyk, it was a chance to announce himself on the global stage. For Huck, it was a battle for redemption in front of his home crowd. In the lead-up to the fight, Huck had promised to rough Usyk up, insisting that the Ukrainian was untested at this level. He claimed Usyk's slick style would collapse under relentless pressure. Usyk, calm and composed, dismissed the trash talk with a smile, vowing to let his boxing do the talking. Analysts debated whether Huck's rugged brawling could trouble the disciplined Southpaw rhythm of the champion. By fight night, anticipation was sky-high. The mix of German pride and Ukrainian belief created an atmosphere dripping with tension. Round 1, establishing control. From the opening bell, Usyk's footwork immediately stood out. He circled gracefully, jabbing and probing, keeping Huck at range. Huck tried to storm forward with looping right hands, but Usyk slipped and countered with straight lefts. The German was aggressive, but it was ineffective aggression. Usyk calmly picked his spots and landed the cleaner punches, setting the tone early. Round 2, Usyk's jab finds its home. Huck attempted to double his jab and cut the ring off, but Usyk was a step ahead. The Ukrainian mixed head and body shots, landing crisp combinations. Huck responded with wild swings, but most struck Usyk's guard or missed entirely. Usyk's accuracy and speed began to frustrate the German, who was already breathing heavier than usual. Round 3, Huck pushes forward. The veteran tried to turn the tide by leaning on Usyk in clinches, using physical tactics. At one point, he landed a right hand that excited the crowd, but Usyk quickly answered with a rapid 3-punch combination. Every time Huck pressed, Usyk made him pay with precise counters. The champion's composure contrasted starkly with Huck's increasingly desperate approach. Round 4, turning up the heat. Usyk began to raise the tempo, firing off longer combinations and pivoting out of range before Huck could respond. A clean uppercut snapped Huck's head back, drawing gasps from the crowd. Huck's jab was still active, but Usyk walked through it, landing left crosses and body shots that slowed the German's movement. The champion's confidence grew visibly. Round 5, the pressure builds. Usyk pressed harder, backing Huck into the ropes. His combinations flowed with machine-like rhythm, body-head body, never letting Huck rest. The German fired back bravely, throwing hooks in exchanges, but his punches lacked sting. Usyk's relentless pace was beginning to break him down, both physically and mentally. Round 6, defensive mastery. By now, Usyk was in full control. He slipped Huck's wild shots with ease and fired back with pinpoint accuracy. A quick double jab followed by a left cross shook Huck, forcing him to retreat. The Ukrainian's footwork was dazzling, his energy unrelenting. Huck tried to clinch repeatedly, but the referee warned him for excessive holding. Round 7, dominance grows. Usyk's combinations came faster and sharper. He landed thudding shots to the body, then ripped hooks upstairs that snapped Huck's head back. The German's face showed swelling, his legs growing heavy. The crowd roared each time Usyk connected, sensing the fight was tilting beyond recovery for their hometown hero. Round 8, Huck in trouble. The pace was punishing. Usyk battered Huck with shots from every angle, stepping around him and pouring on pressure. Huck's arms dropped slightly as body shots piled up. A brutal left cross landed flush, forcing Huck into the ropes. The referee once again warned Huck for holding, but it was clear the end was approaching. Usyk's punches had broken through his resistance. Round 9, the beginning of the end. Huck was bloodied, breathing heavily, and his output slowed dramatically. Usyk, by contrast, looked fresh, bouncing on his toes and firing combinations with relentless consistency. A sharp 1-2 sent Huck stumbling backward, and Usyk followed with a flurry to head and body. The German's defense was unraveling. The Ukrainian crowd in the arena erupted, chanting their champion's name. Round 10, the finish. Usyk came out determined to close the show. He cornered Huck and unleashed a brutal barrage, a straight left down the middle, hooks to the body, and a crisp uppercut that rocked Huck badly. Pinned against the ropes and unable to answer, Huck absorbed heavy punishment as Usyk poured it on. At 2:18 of the round, the referee jumped in and stopped the fight, awarding Usyk a dominant TKO victory. The Ukrainian raised his hands to the sky as his team erupted in celebration. Huck, exhausted and battered, could only nod in resignation. The victory over Huck did not just move Usyk into the semi-finals of the World Boxing Super Series. It signaled the arrival of a special talent who was ready to dominate an entire era. Observers around the world took notice of the way he systematically dismantled a battle-tested veteran, combining high output with surgical accuracy. The fight also revealed another dimension of Usyk, his ability to thrive under pressure in hostile territory. Fighting in Berlin against Germany's longtime champion, he silenced the crowd with skill and composure, proving that no stage was too big for him. In the months that followed, Usyk's reputation grew rapidly. The Huck fight became a reference point whenever analysts spoke about ring IQ and conditioning. Commentators pointed to his ability to throw over 800 punches in a fight, an astonishing statistic for a cruiserweight, and still maintain sharpness into the later rounds. His southpaw stance, constant movement, and ability to shift gears made him a puzzle no one seemed capable of solving. For Huck, the night was painful but also symbolic. It marked the closing chapter of his reign as Germany's top star, but it also underscored the inevitable generational shift in boxing. He had fought bravely, but the sport had moved on, and the new wave was embodied by Usyk. Fans in Berlin gave Huck respect for his courage, but they also recognized that the better man had won. This giant swore he would destroy Oleksandr Usyk. Just listen what he said.
So go win it back 3 times, sausage. I'm gonna bust him. Sausage, ugly little man, rabbit. Run, rabbit, run, rabbit, run, run, run.
If you think that's all, you're wrong.
Yeah, we will see. You can't beat me. You can never beat me, you ugly little man. Little man.
But one night, in one corner stands a giant who broke the heavyweight code. Tyson Fury, 6'9", a 120-kilo puzzle with freakish movement and a king's confidence. He went to Germany and outboxed Vladimir Klitschko. He went to America and survived Deontay Wilder's nuclear right hand, then got up like nothing human should. In the other corner, a man who never cared about size, only about levels. Oleksandr Usyk, Olympic champion, undisputed cruiserweight king, the Southpaw scientist from Ukraine. He cleaned out an entire division, then moved up to heavyweight and took Anthony Joshua's belts in his own backyard. Twice. Tonight, all the belts are on the table. The lineal champion versus the master technician. The Gypsy King versus the Ukrainian general. When the first bell rings, will it be size that rules boxing's throne? Or pure skill? Round 1. The air is thick, the lights are bright, and the tension is heavier than both men combined. Usyk comes out small, compact, bouncing on his toes. He inches forward in short, controlled steps, testing Tyson's reactions with little feints of the lead hand, tapping the body with jabs, showing him the left downstairs early. His eyes barely blink. He's reading Fury's rhythm. No big exchanges, no wild flurries. It's all about information. Usyk is the one stepping forward, bending at the waist, making Fury react. Fury is calm, maybe a touch too casual, content to score with the occasional jab and grin at small misses. On many scorecards, that little extra activity from Usyk, his body shots, his forward pressure, his attempts to dictate where the fight takes place, are enough to steal the first round. Nothing huge, but you can feel that the smaller man is not here to be bullied. Round 2 begins with Fury a little more switched on. He starts pumping the jab with more authority. Instead of just pawing, he snaps it from the shoulder, trying to stop Usyk's advance before it even begins. Several of those jabs land more solidly now, popping Usyk's head back just a touch, reminding him that this is not cruiserweight anymore. Usyk stays patient. He doesn't rush. He keeps circling, mostly to his right, trying to move away from Fury's dominant right hand and create angles for his left. He flicks at the body again, short jab, step in, left to the ribs, then a quick pivot out before Fury can tie him up. The tempo is still measured, but the pattern is clear. Usyk wants to close the distance in bursts, and then exit at angles. Fury wants to control him with the jab, slow him down with his size, and make him reset over and over. It's another close round. Fury's jab might be just a little more consistent. Usyk's body work and pressure might appeal more to other judges. You can almost feel the narrative building. This won't be about knockdowns early. It will be about who can build small edges. In round 3, Tyson Fury starts to look more like Tyson Fury. He's found his distance now. His jab is coming in different speeds, sometimes hard, sometimes just a distraction, sometimes as part of a 1-2. He begins to drop a few feints of his own, twitching the shoulder, rolling his upper body, trying to draw premature reactions from Usyk. Usyk continues to press, but now he's paying a bit more on entry. Fury steps in with a solid jab, then digs a right hand to the body, a heavy, thudding shot that you can almost feel through the screen. It doesn't wobble Usyk, but it takes a piece of his gas tank. You see more of the mind games too. Fury smiles after slipping a shot, lifts his hands as if to say, "That didn't touch me." He leans on Usyk a little and close, resting that huge frame on the smaller man's shoulders, making him carry the weight whenever the referee allows it. By the end of the round, it looks like Fury's plan is taking shape. Slow Usyk down, touch him to the body, frustrate his attempts to get clean angles. For many observers, this is the first clearly Fury round of the fight. Round 4 continues the trend. Fury uses his height like a wall. He plants his feet a bit more often, no longer circling as much, and starts to work behind a more authoritative jab. Most of Usyk's attempts to dart in are greeted by either that stabbing lead hand or a quick clinch. When they tangle up, Fury doesn't waste the opportunity. He leans his full weight onto Usyk's upper back, forcing him to stand up from an awkward angle, tiring his legs and lower back. The referee breaks them, but those few seconds of leaning add up. If the early rounds were about Usyk's activity, these middle ones are about Fury's control. Round 4 feels like a continuation of that shift, the big man imposing his game, forcing the smaller champion to think harder about how to get in. Round 5 is arguably one of Fury's best spells in the entire fight. He starts to mix jabs with nasty shots to the body. He drives a right hand into Usyk's midsection, then follows up with another jab upstairs. Usyk reacts, backing off just a bit more than before. Tyson's confidence grows. He begins throwing more combinations, jab to the head, right hand to the body, then a sneaky uppercut through the middle whenever Usyk dips. One of those uppercuts lands especially clean, lifting Usyk's head and drawing a roar from the crowd. Fury's showmanship surfaces too. He talks to Usyk, smiles, flicks little taps of the glove at him as if to say, "I'm comfortable here." He rolls with a few punches, then spins out of the corner with a grin. On most scorecards, this is a clear Fury round. He's landing the heavier shots, doing excellent work to the body, and making the ring feel larger for Usyk, who has to cross that dangerous space again and again. But the story of an Oleksandr Usyk fight is that he doesn't accept that narrative for long. In round 6, you can sense a subtle shift. Usyk's feet look a little lighter again. He begins stepping in with more conviction, angling to the side after every entry, not staying in Fury's punching line. He finds Fury's head with a couple of crisp straight lefts. They're not bombs, but they land flush enough to make Tyson blink and reset. Usyk also starts doubling his jab more often, touching high, then sneaking shots to the body in between. Fury still has success. His jab is still a problem. But for the first time since the early going, the momentum begins to tilt back. Usyk seems to have adjusted to the rhythm, to the range. It's a quieter round in terms of big drama, but an important one in terms of the underlying story. Usyk is no longer just taking what Fury gives him. He's beginning to shape the fight again. Round 7 is where that adjustment becomes obvious. Usyk comes out with more purpose, stepping into the pocket with short, sharp combinations. He no longer seems content to just touch the body. Now he's targeting the head more consistently with the left hand. He sneaks a beautiful straight left through Fury's guard early in the round, then follows it up with a quick right hook as he steps off to the side. Fury feels those shots. His head jerks, his eyes widen a bit, and his body language changes from playful to serious. By the end of 7, Usyk looks like the man who has figured something out. The smaller fighter is suddenly the one pushing the bigger man back. Round 8 is a big one for Usyk. He builds on the success of 7 by increasing the pace. He keeps his feet under him, presses forward behind that educated jab, and begins to land left hands with more and more accuracy. Fury's movements are a little less springy now. The earlier body work is helping him, but it's also taken energy. He's a massive man, and moving a massive frame for 8 rounds against someone like Usyk is exhausting. Usyk doesn't go wild. He stays disciplined, keeps his shape, but clearly and decisively wins the round. The combinations, the pressure, and the cleaner headshots speak loudly. What looked like a Fury lead a couple of rounds ago now feels very fragile. Round 9 is the storm. Usyk comes out like a man who has seen a crack in the dam and is determined to break it open. He steps into range with confidence, unleashing a left hand that lands flush on Fury's head. Tyson is visibly rocked. His legs stiffen, his upper body sways. Usyk senses it instantly. He launches a vicious follow-up attack. Left hand, right hook, another left, chasing Fury across the ring. Tyson retreats toward the ropes as Usyk pours on pressure, punching in tight arcs around the guard, forcing Fury to shell up and stagger. For a moment, Fury is saved only by the ropes. He slumps back into them, clearly hurt, his head snapping side to side under Usyk's barrage. The referee steps in, not to stop the fight, but to issue a count, effectively a standing knockdown, recognizing that the ropes kept Fury from going down. The arena explodes. Usyk has turned the giant into a wounded target. When the action resumes, Oleksandr doesn't get reckless. He continues to walk Fury down, landing more clean lefts and right hooks, keeping the pressure high but controlled. Fury survives the round, but just barely. His face tells the story, marked, shaken, for the first time in the fight truly close to being stopped. On the scorecards, it's a massive 10-8 round for Usyk. In the story of the fight, it's the moment where the balance of power changes dramatically. Round 10 starts with a simple question. Can Fury rebuild after almost being finished? He comes out trying to buy time, moving more, jabbing, holding when Usyk gets close. His legs are back under him somewhat, but the sharpness is not fully there. He's blinking, breathing heavier, much more cautious. Usyk is not fooled. He doesn't sprint in wild for the knockout. He's too smart for that. Instead, he keeps doing what was working: steady pressure, disciplined feet, combinations that start with the jab and end with the left hand upstairs or to the body. After 10 rounds, the narrative is clear. Tyson had a strong stretch in the middle, but the last few frames have belonged to Usyk. By round 11, both men are exhausted. Not just physically, but mentally. 12 rounds at this level is a test of concentration as much as cardio. Fury, to his credit, digs deep again. He tries to re-establish his jab, to reclaim the center of the ring, to make Usyk back off. He lands some clean shots. A jab, a right hand, a couple of solid body blows. But Usyk is still there, still in his chest, still stepping around him. He keeps his guard tight, picks off some of the jabs, and answers with counters each time Fury overcommits. Straight lefts, hooks around the glove, little three-punch bursts that punctuate every exchange. What's undeniable is that Usyk's composure never cracks. Even as fatigue bites, he keeps his shape, keeps his balance, and continues to make the bigger man miss just a bit more than he lands. Heading into the final round, everything feels on a knife's edge, but you know that if it goes the distance, that 9th round might be the one that decides history. The 12th and final round of the first Fury-Usyk fight is not about technique alone. It's about pride. Fury comes out knowing he might need something big. He lifts his hands to the crowd, pumps the jab, and steps forward with as much energy as he can summon. He digs to the body with right hands, tries looping shots over the top, and attempts to rough Usyk up in close. Usyk doesn't run. He moves, yes, he's always moving, but he stands his ground when he has to. He picks his counters carefully. A jab here, a left hand there, a little combination when Fury's guard opens up. There are moments where it looks like Fury is rallying, imposing his size, forcing Usyk backward with sheer volume and will. The bell rings. Two giants, two champions, both raising their fists, both convinced in their hearts that they'd done enough. The scorecards say this: a split decision for Oleksandr Usyk. He becomes the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world, the first of the four-belt era. Tyson Fury, for the first time in his professional career, tastes defeat. And yet, even as Usyk stands on the ropes with all the belts over his shoulders, the story doesn't feel finished. Because fights like this, close, tactical, full of swings and moments and what-ifs, don't end with the final bell. 2 Southpaws, 1 belt, and one night in Gdansk, Poland, September 17, 2016, where the hometown champion tried to turn it into a street fight, while the challenger tried to turn it into a chess match. Krzysztof Glowacki brings pressure, power, and a crowd that wants chaos. Oleksandr Usyk brings Olympic-level timing, feet that never stop, and the kind of calm that breaks tough men. 12 rounds. No shortcuts. Just skill versus grit, until a new king is crowned. Usyk was built for big stages. Born January 17, 1987, he became an amateur monster, winning gold at the 2011 World Championships and gold at the 2012 Olympics. He turned pro in 2013, sprinted through contenders, and in just his 10th fight he traveled into enemy territory to take his first world title, right here, against Glowacki. This was the night the cat stopped being a prospect and became a champion. Glowacki is Poland's Iron Man. He started boxing young, built his name on toughness, and carried a fanbase that loved war. In 2015, he shocked the world by stopping Marco Huck to win the WBO cruiserweight title, a fight where he got dropped, fought back, and still found the knockout. He defended the belt in 2016 against Steve Cunningham, scoring multiple knockdowns, then walked into this matchup at home, ready to break Usyk with pressure. Round 1. Southpaw versus Southpaw right away. And you can see what Glowacki wants. He steps forward hard, shoulders tight, trying to bully Usyk off the center line and make this a fight in close. He throws heavy to the body early, more of a statement than a scoring effort, like he's saying, "You're in Poland now." Usyk doesn't bite. He's light on his feet, circling to his right, constantly changing the angles so Glowacki has to turn before he can fire. Usyk flicks the jab and taps the lead hand, testing range, then slides out before the champion can set his feet. The key detail: when Glowacki tries to step in with power, Usyk meets him with quick, short counters, nothing huge yet, but clean touches that interrupt momentum. Round 1 is pressure versus control, and Usyk already looks comfortable making Glowacki miss by inches. Round 2. Glowacki increases the intensity. He tries to cut the ring instead of following, taking wider steps to trap Usyk near the ropes. He leans in, tries to make it physical, and you start seeing him work that left hand to the body and chest, anything to slow the legs. But Usyk's rhythm is different. He's not just running, he's turning defense into positioning. He pivots after every exchange, and the moment Glowacki thinks he has him lined up, Usyk is off at a new angle. Usyk starts letting combinations go, 2 and 3 punches, then disappears. Glowacki lands a couple heavier shots when he gets close, but he's spending energy to earn every second of contact. Usyk's scoring is cleaner, quick jabs, straight lefts, and little hooks on the exit. The champion looks dangerous, but Usyk is the one dictating where the fight happens. Round 3. Now the fight starts to take shape. Glowacki tries to force a higher pace, throwing more with intent, big swings meant to change the mood. He steps in hard, looking for that moment where Usyk stands still. Usyk stays calm and begins timing the entries. When Glowacki comes forward, Usyk snaps a jab, then a straight left, and angles out. The champion's pressure is real, but he's walking into clean shots. And then, an important turning point. There's a clash of heads that opens a cut near Glowacki's right eye. It's not instantly fight-ending, but it changes everything. Blood, swelling, and the constant reminder that the more he chases, the more risk he takes. Glowacki responds by trying to rough Usyk up inside, but Usyk refuses extended clinches and keeps the work crisp. The round feels like Usyk is reading the champion faster than the champion can adjust. Round 4. Glowacki understands he can't win a track meet, so he tries to drag Usyk into traffic. He presses with his chest, throws to the body, and looks to pin Usyk on the ropes where footwork doesn't matter as much. Usyk's answer is subtle but brutal. He never leaves the same way twice. Sometimes he pivots around the lead foot. Sometimes he steps back and resets. Sometimes he spins off the ropes with a quick jab to create space. And now he's adding more pop to his counters. When Glowacki loads up, Usyk lands first and gets out. The cut makes Glowacki blink and wipe at the eye between moments. And you can see his frustration building because he's working harder for smaller results. This round is about efficiency. Glowacki's pressure looks aggressive, but Usyk is landing the cleaner, more consistent shots. And he's doing it while barely giving the champion a stationary target. Round 5. This is one of the rounds where Glowacki digs deep and finds success through sheer will. He steps in heavier, throws more volume, and starts committing to body shots with real purpose, trying to sap the legs and slow the lateral movement. He also forces longer exchanges. For brief moments, Usyk is in the pocket longer than he wants, and Glowacki's toughness shows. He's willing to take one to give one, and the crowd feeds him energy. But Usyk stays disciplined. He doesn't panic, and he doesn't try to win the fight with one big moment. Instead, he answers Glowacki's surges with sharp combinations. Quick left hands down the middle, short hooks when Glowacki squares up, then a pivot out. Glowacki's pressure makes the round competitive, but the pattern remains. Usyk's clean work is clearer, while Glowacki's best moments come from forcing contact and hoping to turn it messy. Round 6. Usyk starts taking the fight away. His timing is sharper now. He's seeing Glowacki's rhythm and interrupting it at the start of every entry. The jab becomes a weapon, not just a rangefinder. Glowacki still pushes forward, but he's getting hit on the way in and hit again as Usyk exits. Usyk strings combinations together, jab, straight left, quick hook, then out at an angle, and it's making the champion hesitate. This is where you notice the difference between pressure and effective pressure. Glowacki is moving forward, but he's not consistently landing clean, while Usyk is scoring almost every time he chooses to engage. The cut continues to matter. Each exchange carries an extra cost for Glowacki, and Usyk looks like he can keep this pace all night. By the end of the round, the champion's body language shows it. He's still brave, but he's starting to chase instead of command. Round 7. Glowacki tries to change the equation by making it a body fight. He digs left hands downstairs, tries to bump Usyk with his shoulder, and looks to slow the feet with physicality. He wants Usyk standing still for even a second. Usyk responds with craft. He doesn't accept the clinch for free. He punches on the break, he steps out while throwing, and he counters to the body too, reminding Glowacki that pressure has consequences. You also see Usyk increase the variety. He jabs high, then stabs the body, then fires the straight left up top. That mix keeps Glowacki from setting a single defensive pattern. Glowacki has moments where he finally lands heavier shots, but the immediate problem is what comes back. Usyk answers instantly, 2 or 3 shots right after taking one, so the champion never gets sustained momentum. This round feels like Glowacki is fighting hard, but Usyk is fighting smart. Round 8. This is a showcase of Usyk's movement and control. He's gliding, small steps, constant angle changes, and quick pivots that make Glowacki reset over and over again. Every reset costs the champion energy. Glowacki keeps trying to cut off the ring, but Usyk is already gone before the trap is set. And when Glowacki throws big, Usyk punishes the miss with clean counters, jab, straight left, short hook, then out. The champion's best hope here is to force a collision, but Usyk refuses to collide unless he chooses the moment. Usyk's hands are fast, but the real weapon is his feet. He's making the ring feel huge for himself and tiny for the man chasing him. By the end of the round, you can sense the gap widening. Glowacki's pressure is still brave, still aggressive, but he's losing exchanges on accuracy and timing. Usyk looks like he's solving the fight in real time. Round 9. Glowacki knows he's behind, and he starts gambling. He throws with more urgency, trying to create a dramatic moment, something that swings the fight with one big exchange. He steps in with heavier shots and tries to force Usyk to trade. Usyk stays composed. He doesn't overreact to the aggression. He simply tightens the defense and increases the precision. The jab snaps, the straight left lands clean, and he keeps turning out after scoring. This round has a tense feel because Glowacki is dangerous when he commits, and you can hear the crowd rise when he storms forward. But the clean punches continue to belong to Usyk. Many of Glowacki's shots hit arms and gloves, while Usyk's shots find the face and body. The champion's heart keeps him in it, but the pattern is stubborn. Glowacki is trying to force the fight, and Usyk is calmly refusing, turning every lunge into a scoring opportunity. Round 10. Glowacki tries to add more structure to the pressure, less chasing, more cutting off the ring. He attempts to step into Usyk's path and meet him, rather than follow him. He also works the body whenever he gets close, hoping to slow Usyk late. Usyk responds by choosing moments to sit down on punches. He lands clean combinations, then slips away before the counter comes. When Glowacki swings wide, Usyk beats him to the target with straight shots. The exchanges get a bit hotter here, more contact, more willingness to trade for a second, but Usyk still wins the "who lands first and last" battle. And that matters to judges and to momentum. Glowacki shows toughness, but you can see fatigue in the resets. Every time he misses, he has to turn and start again, and Usyk's movement is still sharp. This round feels like Usyk is not just winning, he's managing the fight like a champion already. Round 11. Late rounds now, and Glowacki is running out of time. He's still coming, but the explosiveness isn't the same. The pressure is more effort than threat. He has to work harder to get close, and he's taking clean shots doing it. Usyk starts turning the screws with longer combinations. He lands 2, 3, 4 punches in sequence, and you can see Glowacki cover up more. This isn't a knockdown round, but it's a dominance round. Usyk's control is clear. The champion tries to rally with a big push, but Usyk answers with sharp counters and footwork that kills the follow-up. Glowacki can land 1, but he can't land 3 in a row, and he can't keep Usyk pinned long enough to build a storm. By the end of the round, the fight looks decided unless something dramatic happens. Usyk is calm, precise, and active. He's doing everything you do when you know you're ahead: score, move, and don't give away a moment. Round 12. Final round. Glowacki comes out with urgency. This is the last chance. He throws with everything he has, trying to force a war. The arena is loud, the champion is desperate, and the energy spikes immediately. Early in the round there's a moment of chaos. Usyk goes down, but it's ruled a slip. That moment lights a fire in Glowacki, and he storms forward looking to make something happen. Usyk doesn't fall apart. He steadies, keeps the guard tight, and goes right back to what brought him here: angles, clean counters, and quick exits. When Glowacki swings big, Usyk tags him down the middle. When Glowacki tries to corner him, Usyk pivots out and answers with a short combination. Glowacki's heart is undeniable in the final minutes, but he can't land clean enough, often enough, to rewrite the fight. The bell sounds, and Usyk finishes standing tall, still composed, still sharp, having controlled the distance, the pace, and the scoring for 12 rounds.
Oleksandr Usyk. The new judges got it absolutely spot on. The bravery